Kia ora, my name's Fern Ngatai, and I am a Tāmaki artist and visual artist based here in Tāmaki Makaurau. Tattooing, especially with moko, it's personal, it's like unique for that person. They would come to me and we have a conversation about what they want their moko to represent. From there I pick the elements of what symbol is appropriate, where are they from, how is it aesthetically going to be pleasing to the body as well. And then from there it's very organic because I don't know who's going to sit in front of me. And it's that time of kind of understanding and listening to that person on what they want to talk about and what they want to represent. So for example, if you were like, hey Fern, I feel like I'm up here, I want to feel grounded. Okay, cool. So what grounds you? It's your feet. So for example, like you could, like for me, this was about grounding, this piece. So it pulls you down to the earth. And that's probably one easy way to help direct you as a client and help me kind of guide you in where you want to go. Moko is to kind of like to scar, and there's a big origin about how moko came to the world. Long story short, there's this guy called Ranginui who is the Sky Father, and then you have Papa Tuanuku who is the Earth Mother, and they had a bunch of children. So for example, if you think about the ocean, that's Tangaroa, that's the god of the ocean. Tani Mahuta is the god of the forest, and there was one more kind of child that was unborn, and his name was a Ruaumoko, so he's volcanic. So what happens when volcanic moves? Lavas and it scars. So that's like one way to look at Tāmoko and Ruaumoko. So many origins about that one. Yeah. There's a lot of different ways, but that's just one example. So for me, how I got into tattooing was I always liked how our motifs and our symbolism could tell a story without having literal words. And you could read it by looking at it. So these patterns are developed from the natural world, like of oceans, trees, whatever, using those moments of movement, energy, and life. So my tattooing apprenticeship started, moko apprenticeship started when I was 21, and that was in 2018. Kind of get chucked into the deep end when you've got an apprenticeship. You know what drawing is, and then you know what tattooing is. And then to like understand and learn tattooing, there's no rule book. Well, some people might have a rule book, but like personally, you just learn as you go. That's probably one of the best ways to go about it. No one teaches you how to build trust with a client, maybe. For me personally, that's something that came naturally in the sense that I was brought up, you treat people how you want to be treated. So not to make them feel uncomfortable, make them feel at home. The more that someone's relaxed, the easier everything's going to be. So my intentions are always just to be honest and pure to them as much as I can be.
When wandering, I revisit.
So the visual art that I do, handmade paintings. Usually I use harakeke paper, which is made out of flax. It's a bush, and it's quite a resourceful bush for Māori, so you make traditional garments out of it, you use it in the housing of your marae. You can also make paper out of it. There's many things you can utilize this plant for. But for me specifically, my mum is a weaver. She doesn't do it so much anymore because she's got arthritis. So growing up for me, there was a lot of flax around the house. And if you know what flax smells like, it's like a certain smell of just earthy, like earthy connection. And it reminds me of my childhood because my mum would teach me how to use this plant and make it resourceful for me. So when I came across this harakeke paper, it was actually a koha, which is a gift from a client of mine who sadly she's passed away. But she was a big pivotal moment of where Flows Bairo, my artist name, came from, and the visual arts that I do with harakeke paper came from her as that gift. So there's a long story of like how I got to this paper, but it's so meaningful to me and my family because it's something that we've adopted into our world, like it's looked after us, so we look after it. And it's kind of like a mentality of anything in Te Ao Māori, like if you look after this, it will look after you. So when this paper came to me, it was only, I think it sat in my studio for maybe like 2 years, and I never touched it until COVID came along. And I really finally kind of found a way for me to practice with it. I had something certain in my mind, like having the black, white, and red for me is how you can identify Te Ao Māori, black, white, and red. I mean, there's a saying in Te Ao Māori like, mā whiro, mā pango, kauti te mahi, which means with red, with black, the work is done. I relate it back to kind of being mum's Pākehā, so she's New Zealand Kiwi, dad's Māori, and I see them both working together as one. And this is kind of like the outcome. A lot of my paintings talk a lot about intertwining people together, intertwining our cultures together, instead of seeing one as separate, just as a whole. That was a big tangent, eh?
Yeah, no, that was perfect.
Yeah.
Not cut in.
Yeah, I was really lucky. My two sisters are like my biggest inspiration. So was mum. My mum actually was probably one of the main driving forces for my sisters and I to go learn Te Reo Māori through schooling. So my sisters and I all went through bilingual units. So we had the opportunity to learn Reo Māori and English at the same time. So they were like immersions. So you learn Te Reo Māori. But Dad being Māori, my mum, who was Pākehā, was the driver for like us all to make sure like we would learn our roots. Yuck, no. Not that. Nah, they're the best. They are, I would say they're like, it's so interesting like when you talk about something so kind of close to your heart, because you're like, oh, I don't really want to talk about it. But both of them have just been a big inspiration of being real supportive of like, bro, go be who you want to be. Like, we see this for you, like go do it. Like, we'll give you the confidence and the background and the backbone of you to drive on where you want to be. I was probably like the most annoying person to them, but they could see the vision. They would just keep feeding it. Like, if I had an idea, they'd be like, go do it. Like, what are you doing? You're not doing anything. Like, you're going out partying too much. Like, I think me and Deanie Rose, we have a 7-year difference, and then Amber, we've got 4 years. But Deanie Rose, my elder sister, and she is like my right-hand man. So whatever you see by like Flo's Baido or like anything to do with my art, like she's like my second person. So I bounce a lot of ideas. They're super creative, yeah. I know, but my mum was like the biggest driver of be creative. Like, I knew from a young age, probably like the age of 8, that this was gonna be it. Like, I just knew, like being a visual artist or an artist. Like, there was no other way that I was gonna go into an office or anything. I just knew that I would be my own boss, and I was really lucky to have the support. Yeah. I think my mum's just such a hard ass that she was just herself. She's a super creative woman too, like knitting, sewing. So was my auntie. You know, they're just resourceful, creative, love nature.
Under these stones.
Yeah, so the first email that I sent you guys, first of all, I love Ugly as a brand. It's been such a statement ever since I was growing up, young, 16. Always loved the brand, always loved the ideas, always loved the culture, always loved the artistry about it. And then I actually flicked you an email saying like, hey man, let's chat. And in that email, I signed it off with, my mum said, if you don't ask, you'll never know. And again, now we're here today having a chit chat about my mum. Yeah. What a coincidence. Yeah, shout out mum. She'll be like, oh, that's nice. What's next? Nah, she's a G. She's super G. I'm a big believer, if you don't ask, you'll never know. I think it's from mum, but it's from a lot of people that, like, it's taken a village to raise me. Even though my mum is like one of the main driving forces, I've been fortunate to grow up with a lot of people who have been so supportive of my artistry. And they always told me like, if you don't ask, you'll never know, bro. Again, it goes back to that. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And it's kind of coming to a space where you're confident enough to put yourself into that spot. There's definitely been moments where I haven't felt confident. Self-love, baby, self-work, working, healing. There was one pivotal moment that I was actually talking to my best friend about, because we were dancers while we were both dancing, and he was a lot better than me. And I'd get so freaking jealous of this guy because he would get so much more attention. And I had to find somewhere in myself that I just knew, bro, that's not okay to feel that towards someone that you love so much. You need to change that. So if I'm being honest, yeah, there was a lot of work and a lot of self-help books, a lot of manifesting, a lot of journaling, a lot of just reassurance in myself. Like, you know when people say, like, I think sometimes people don't actually notice or kind of take it seriously when you can manifest or when you really train your brain to do something. And I constantly do that. So I think training that side, it built habits and it built confidence in who I am. But I've always been kind of like a confident person. Again, shout out to my mum and sisters, being like the baby of the family. You just have to go do everything for them. So that was already there, the confidence, and especially through dancing, there was a lot of confidence. It's just like, how do I translate that now into my art? If you're a good person, bro, you're gonna come across good people. And like I said, I'm really fortunate to have like a really solid network of supportive, beautiful, nice people that you just, yeah, you attract what it is. No, for me, it's like about connections. making connections. Like, I hope that when you see my painting, first of all, kind of like trips you out a little bit, like, whoa, what's happening here? You know, with the black and red. But then again, those are like the main colors for Te Ao Māori, of like tino rangatira, you know, mana motuhake. But whakarare, which these designs are actually based off, whakarare means to distort or to confuse. So that's how when you get like them interlaying and kind of twisting and changing, you don't know really what's happening. But when I translate them into my artistry, it's about how we all distort together and kind of like confuse or like mingle together. And then again, it relates back to me being Pākehā and Māori and how those worlds intertwine. I think for me, when I visually like something, like this pattern has always been in my head since maybe like 16, because there was like this certain pendant that a lot of people in Te Ao Māori would wear, and it was just like these 3 kind of acrylic blocks, and it would be like black, white and red, like just 3 blocks. Like, and that's what I grew up with, like seeing people, which they're a representation of like the tino rangatira colors as well. So these 3 blocks, now I actually think about it, people would wear it all the time. And I just remember going to sleep and seeing those three colors. When I saw whakarare, it's one of my favorite designs in Te Ao Māori, in carving, and they just stuck out. Yeah. What's next? What are we doing? What's next for Fern? I think for me, like, I physically find that so hard to answer. I don't know why, because it's, again, I think it might translate to that thing of taking those steps back and appreciating what's going on so far. Because you've wanted so many things and now it's here, again, you're looking for what's next. So I think what's next is, a part of me is like, there is no limit. And I think for what I'm trying to teach myself now at this present stage is like, don't limit your mind. I'm trying to understand how to let those limitations go and flow away, because you can do anything that you want. And those moments are going to present themselves if you keep working towards what you want. So I think that's probably a big thing that's going on. I want to kind of master that moment of like letting go that mindset of limitations. I want to do everything. Like, I'm not going to limit myself to like, I just want to work with that person, or I want Flows by Dough to be this brand. Like, I want it all, you know, essentially. Opportunities will come. And then as long as I'm ready, then everyone's ready, you know? So that's what I mean. Just keep yourself ready, but also being happy at the same time and taking those moments of like looking after yourself. I think I'm really big on that, is like family time, friend time. The more that I can like look after my heart, the more that I can look after my clients and my work. So I'm very big on that. And again, that's probably one big thing, is just making sure my heart's happy so I can be happy for everyone to work with. Nice. Thanks.
I kept thinking it's perfect. Oh, it's perfect now.
Man, talking's hard.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do it and look so organic.